This is what I want to emphasize, that it's absolutely normal if you feel that it's been hard on you. I always want to talk about things which I feel like I can help you guys with, inspire you guys, view things in a way that everything can be turned into a positive thing, or if it cannot be turned into a positive thing, maybe just trying to see the positive aspect of it. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, or hi, welcome if you're new here. My name is Effy, or Fujina, one's a nickname and one's my real name. Welcome to my channel if you're new here and this is the first video that you see from me. I usually upload vlogs, lifestyle and psychology related content. All my socials, everything can be found in the description box down below if you want to follow me on there, along with all the latest videos that I have uploaded. It's been a while since I did a Let's Talk kind of video, and I welcome you to comment down below whatever you feel like. I really want to open up a conversation about today's topic and what we are going to be chatting about. If you don't have a hot beverage or something with you, I recommend that you do so. I have a mint tea with me for today, so let's just get into today's video. So you guys know that I've always been pretty open about anxiety, but today I really wanted to talk about and open up a conversation about how the pandemic and how last year kind of changed my relationship with anxiety and social anxiety in particular. But also not just about my experiences. I've been talking to a lot of people. Also, I was talking with my therapist. We were talking about his clients and how he sees how people have kind of changed along this past year with the pandemic, with quarantine, going into quarantine, in quarantine, and coming out of quarantine. If there's any experience that you want to share down below, I welcome you to do so. I started therapy around 2019, and it was one of the main reasons why I went to therapy. I didn't know, I wasn't sure that it was anxiety, what I was feeling, but what I think I've already talked about in this channel is, in connection with anxiety, is how I would feel it in forms of sometimes not being able to go out from the house, or experiencing it on public transport, also in crowds. But it really depends on my mood, which is absolutely normal. Sometimes I'm in a really high anxiety state, sometimes it's kind of okay and it can be manageable, and on some days I really just feel like a bad bitch and I don't really care. Not that you cannot be a bad bitch when you're experiencing anxiety. I'm just saying that it fluctuates. I think that's a good way to put it. So therapy has been really helping me with that. But when we would go out with my friends and going to concerts, sometimes people were a bit too much, and then we would just sit in the back with my friend, and kind of my social anxiety would die down a little bit, and then we would go back inside. And sometimes I really wouldn't realize, going into a bar with a lot of people, it didn't really bother me, if I want to say that. When the pandemic came, I live in Budapest, Hungary, by the way, if you didn't know. And when the pandemic came, first it was a shock for me, as I feel like it was for everyone. I have to say, you guys, that it wasn't really like staying in. When we had the news that we had to go into quarantine, first I went to self-quarantine. There wasn't an order that we had to go, if I can remember well, but correct me if I'm wrong if you're from Hungary. It wasn't really that hard for me. I really could form a great routine for myself. Also, university was pretty hard. I had tons of classes, I had tons of things to do. But of course, during the lockdown period as well, when we were in a complete lockdown, just the feeling of having to be inside, and that it's not my choice that I want to be inside, that is what bugged me sometimes, but I think that just comes from my personality. Those days were kind of hard. I don't know, you guys, it really did fluctuate there as well. But what I'm trying to say is that for me, it wasn't that big of a deal from an anxiety perspective, because I didn't have to go and take the public transport. I didn't have to go into crowds. I didn't have to leave the house. So I really could just be at home and form a routine for myself and feel that kind of safety and feeling grounded that most people with anxiety are searching for and wanting to experience, because that puts us into ease if you're experiencing anxiety. Now it's May and now everything is opening up here in Budapest and in our whole country. I know that it may differ in other countries, so I am just going to talk about, as always, about my experience and what is happening around here. In the past few weeks, more restrictions have been scratched and there are more and more things that we can do. Right now, bars which are outside, they have a terrace, they can be open. I think there was a curfew. I think they were open until 11 or something like that. Movies were closed and also the theaters were closed. There were a lot of different kind of restrictions and I cannot recall all of them. So if you are interested in the specifics, then please go ahead and Google them, because I don't know everything. But for example, you had to wear a mask if you are leaving your house. If you were in the woods or in the nature, you didn't have to, obviously. On the public transport, it was obligatory to wear a mask, and also the front parts of the buses, for example, they were closed. These were the ones which kind of mainly affected me due to going to work, because I had a job where I had to be there. I was a front desk receptionist. I did the home school thing for university, but I actually had to leave the house. From one perspective it was great, and from other it wasn't. I obviously talked to a lot of people who had to go to home office. They were struggling. There is a close friend of mine, and he said that the whole situation was obviously horrible, but the fact that he couldn't go to another place for work and have a different perspective, it just really messed with his head and his depression and his anxiety. So I'm really thankful for my job. I resigned now just last week or the week before. Never mind. But I'm really thankful that I had this job during the lockdown and the bigger restrictions, because it kind of made me go outside, and maybe if I hadn't gone outside for a longer period of time, maybe my anxiety would have worsened, even though I had these great routines. So now that things are opening up, I think even yesterday, I think that they just announced that even more restrictions are going to be crossed off the list. The main thing is that if there's gonna be an event or something which takes place inside, you have to have a card which indicates that you got the vaccine, any kind of vaccine. So since the places have been opening up, as I told you guys, this office was in the center of the city, and what I would realize as the terraces would open. If you've ever been to Budapest, I worked really close to Deák Square, which is kind of the center of Pest, basically. There are lots of people outside, and experiencing that from the whole street, Király Street, going from, which is a really long and noisy and messy and lot of people, lot of shops, lot of bars, restaurants, everything. Going from having basically nobody outside or maybe two people outside, going back to its natural, busy kind of way, I would be just like, I don't know, like coming out of work, putting my earphones in, lasting some day to remember or something like that, and just trying to shut out the whole world, hopping onto the bus and just coming home as fast as I could. It became so much for me so quickly, which is really important. For me. Maybe not everyone will feel this way. And I am still dealing with this right now that even more social activities can be done. It's definitely an adjustment. And this is how I wanted to finish this video, kind of. I have therapy every week. And last week, as I told you in the beginning of the video, he said that a lot of his clients are opening up about the same thing. So the people who would be kind of fine with or okay with going into lockdown, they are having problems right now, just like I am. Like, they experience these things a little bit. I'm just not making sense right now. Hold on, let me rephrase this whole thing. So for the people who experience going into lockdown easily and it wasn't really hard on them, who were more kind of introverted, and maybe they were used to spending a lot of time inside and they wouldn't have gone outside or parties or whatnot. Anyways, now coming out of lockdown and coming out of quarantine, it's completely normal that it's harder for them. In my life, I see both groups of people, because the other group is the people who were completely shut down and it was really hard for them to stay inside and do everything from the inside, taking care of kids at home, working from home, and not being able to socialize and go outside because they are more social people. So these two groups, it's just natural. This is what I want to emphasize, that it's absolutely normal if you feel that it's been hard on you, it's been not that easy to go outside or hard to go to the grocery store, seeing not just one of your friends but a whole group of friends, maybe 5 people, 10 people, 15 people, sitting down to a dinner, may it be outside or inside or in other parts of the world. It's allowed to go to concerts, or I don't know, just easing back into the normal kind of life that we were living before the pandemic. I always want to talk about things which I feel like I can help you guys with and maybe inspire you guys and view things in a way that everything can be turned into a positive thing, or if it cannot be turned into a positive thing, maybe just trying to see the positive aspect of it, not in a toxic positivity kind of way, but just trying to see the light. So what my therapist told me is that other than that, it's completely normal, and yeah, we know that. I feel like sometimes it's I have to say that it is normal to feel your feelings, but I've just come to a realization that for some people it is really, really hard. There can be a lot of toxic traditions and society defining how we should feel, look, and whatnot. But if you don't take anybody else's word, please take mine for it, that it's okay to feel your feelings and that it's completely normal. So what my therapist said as an advice is that just take it day by day. These can be little challenges that you do. The week before, I handed in my resignation and I had the last day at work on Monday, so I actually had to go into the city. And after that, I was at home for 3-4 days working on projects and social media stuff, and also looking at my notes for my applied thesis. So I was studying, but on Friday I was like, okay, I have to do a few things. I have to run some errands. So how can I make this more comfortable for me? So what helped me is maybe something that would help you, and this is how I want to end this video. So first of all, music. Music has always been there for me, no matter what kind of music feels soothing and calming to you. And also clothes. Comfy clothes, and something that you feel comfortable but also confident as well, and also which is practical for whatever you had to do. That day I went to the mall, and because as I said I had to run some errands, I just put on the comfiest outfit. I felt like I felt really weird, but like from the inside, and my anxiety was not great. I consumed way too much coffee, which you shouldn't do if you have anxiety or if you live with anxiety. Also smoking, oh my gosh, I could do a whole another video on that. I've been really bad in that sense. But anyway, so it was a high anxiety day for me, and with the music and with the outfit that I put together, that always makes me feel better. Also, it's a great thing if you have friends who you can call whenever you feel anxious. My friends are the best. I would just text them on the bus like, hey, I'm feeling anxious, can you send me a photo? Or I don't know, we would send, I don't know, just funny texts or even like reassuring texts that everything is fine, or sending memes. Like memes, they always help me for some reason as well. Also just reassuring thoughts for myself, which can feel weird if you haven't done that in a long time or ever. You are not crazy if you're talking to yourself. You don't have to stand in front of the mirror, but you can be just like on the bus and telling yourself like, hey, or on the metro. I really hate the metro. Like you can be like, hey, this is fine, this is only temporary, everything is fine, everything is okay. Taking a deep breath can always really help. Oh yeah, reading a book. So reading or anything that suits you. There's even this app which I really like to use. If you touch the screen, it makes these little flames or whatnot. I don't know, I feel like it kind of helps me to ease my mind. So these are the things that really helped me. Maybe some of them will help you, hopefully. This is my story, my advice. If you want to add anything to this, I would be really happy to read them and talk to you guys there in the comments. So I hope that you have a great day, night, morning, whenever you're watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to support my channel. I love you guys so much, and I will see you guys really soon. Bye guys.